Welcome to Final Approach with Chris Gregory. I am a philomath who is somebody who loves to learn things. One of the things that I've learned is that everyone has a tale to tell and a lesson to teach. From pilots to farriers to musicians to authors and creators, I'm going to explore my interests while introducing you to some amazing people. Pre-flight is complete and we have clearance, so let's kick the tires and start the fires. John Hershbarger. If you are in any part of the ferry industry, you know John Hershbarger of Wellshod in Amarillo, Texas. He is a problem solver like few others, and this has led to a successful marriage, a successful business partnership, and a thriving farrier supply. You won't find a more likable man who has time for everyone. He puts people first, and it shows in the success that is Wellshod. He has grown more than one business and even found time in there to learn how to forge at a level where he can compete in farrier contests. Even though his schedule is constantly busy, he was willing to sit down with me as I got to know more about John and his vision for our beloved trade. We are cleared for takeoff. Hey, everybody. I am here with John Hershbarger. You may not know that name, but I'm sure you know about wellshod.com if you have held a horseshoe in the last 10 years. John, thank you so much for taking a moment.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me.
I was flying through Texas, and I had a little extra time that I wasn't planning on, and I called John at the last minute and said, hey, I know I asked you a long time ago, but do you have time? And he says, well, I'm going on a trip. And Kelly kind of listened in the background, and she said, I didn't know he's going on a mission trip. Come out as fishing trip, right?
Fishing trip. Yes, sir.
Sir, you're the owner and the brains behind Wellshod. And I guess the first time I came through here, you guys were a feed store about 10 miles from here.
Correct. Yes, sir.
And horseshoeing was a small part of it.
Yes.
And so now, do you guys do any feed anymore?
No, sir. No, we split Wellshod out away from the feed store 2015. Made a standalone farrier supply store. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then sold the feed store in 2020 to my brother-in-law.
Oh, nice.
Still in the family.
Okay. And is he still talking to you?
Oh, yeah. Some days. Yeah.
Okay. So, John, where are you from?
Amarillo. Yep. Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Yes, sir.
So how far do you live from where you grew up?
I'm about 20 miles south from mom and dad's.
Well, that's pretty cool. Yeah. And did you grow up a cowboy?
Well, kind of. Not a real cowboy. We always had horses and rode, but I was really more interested in livestock, 4-H, showing steers and hogs. That was kind of more my direction.
So where do you draw the line of real cowboy? Like John Travolta when he's riding a bucking machine, is that a real cowboy?
Exactly. Doing ranch work.
But you had animals and you
Yes,
rode
sir.
horses?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Did you have a cowboy hat?
I did. That should qualify.
Okay. All right. And do you still live in the country?
Yes, sir.
And do you have horses?
I do. My wife does. My wife rides and trains reining horses.
Well, that's very cool. How long you guys been together?
23 years.
Man. And how old a man are you?
47.
Where is almost half your life, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You know, if you had committed murder, you'd be a free man.
Right. Yes, sir.
Does she show a lot or does she mainly
does.
trains?
Yeah, she trains and shows, depending on time of year. She's got some clients and some non-pros and some youth, and so they haul 2 or 3 times a month, depending on.
Do you
on
go?
the month. Not often.
Do you want to go?
No. If they're close, if they're in town, I go and support and help, but that's her thing. I enjoy that about as much as she enjoys going to a horseshoeing contest.
Yep, I can understand that. So when did you first shoe a horse?
Well, start to finish, 1 foot was the WCB contest, Edgewood in 2022.
So you qualified for the shoeing.
Yes, sir.
And now it's time to shoe.
Now it's time to shoe.
And
Yep. It wasn't my plan.
how did it go?
It actually went pretty good for the first time.
But you'd been to several contests before that in the forging, right?
Correct. Yeah. I did the novice, WCB novice in 2020, and then did Cat 1 in 2021, and again in 2022, and made the shoe in 2022. Made it twice, Edgewood and Madison.
Was that the first time you drove nails?
No, I drove nails in 1 foot one time before. Just so that.
That's just pure moxie.
Yeah.
What a deal.
Well, yeah. I'm the kind of guy that likes to be really prepared if I'm going to do something. I didn't expect that I would make the shoeing, honestly. I mean, I practiced a lot. I built a lot of shoes. I really enjoy doing that. but I just didn't think.
You didn't think the Forge Work prep would get you to the shoeing?
I didn't. Not that quick. I didn't. So yeah, I made the shoeing, which was really excited about that. And Craig Turnkoff offered to strike for me.
Nice.
Thankfully. And we had worked together a little bit before, so he knows what I knew and what I didn't know.
Sure. Well, and having an experienced striker, if
Oh.
you're about to drive your first nails.
Yes, sir.
Kind
Yeah.
of a good idea.
And, he's good under pressure and all that type of thing. And so,
How about you? Are you good under pressure?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
seem pretty
Yeah.
cool. Now, were you an athlete?
No,
No.
I was the asthmatic kid.
Really?
Yes, sir.
But you're pretty a fit guy now, right?
Yeah, I try to be.
And did you do any riding, like rodeo or any of that as a kid?
No rodeo stuff. All 4-H FFA, hauled show steers around, all that. Yep. A lot of my best friends, team ropers and all that, but that just didn't really fit for me.
So you're not even a roper now?
No.
I'll be dang. What's your educational background?
Graduated high school and then went to Clarendon Junior College, Clarendon, Texas. They've got a good ag program. Did a year there, and then Amarillo College for a year, and then went to West Texas A&M in Canyon for 2 years, ag business and economics. Almost graduated. When I was in high school, started working at the feed store.
The same one that I met you at?
Yeah, the one that we ended up buying, that feed store. That was worked there in high school. Really, really liked it. Part of college, worked there, and to pay our way through college, Timmy, my partner in business, good friend for a long time, we started hauling hay. And so we bought and sold hay. We had pop-up loaders out of the field. So we did that for 3 years there through college. And long story short, the guy that owned the feed store, he'd been there 23 years, Gail Johnson, asked if we wanted to buy it. And so we jumped at that. So we quit school and bought the feed store, and that was that. So, yeah, I was about 18 hours away from having my bachelor's degree. But they told me it was a 4-year degree plan, and I'd done 4 years, so I don't know what their problem was. It worked out.
So now, Timmy has been your partner for how many years now?
Yeah, we partnered up in 1997, hauling hay.
Not only are you still partners, but you're still friends.
Yes,
How
sir.
do you do that?
Been really lucky. You hear all kind of horror stories about partnerships and honesty, always. We've just always been able to talk through whatever. We think very, very similar on most things, and we always have a good discussion, different viewpoints, and yeah, we just make a decision and go with it and go to work.
Well, my dad was a lawyer. He saw a lot of partnership problems,
Mm-hmm.
and he always said a good partnership was worse than a bad marriage.
Yeah.
And a lot of people I know that have had partnerships, they end up 5 years later hating that person and wanting to run them over or sue them.
No, still great friends. And
well, that's phenomenal, huh?
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Been very fortunate.
When I first met you at the feed store, how many square feet did you have dedicated to horseshoeing?
Ooh, 35?
3,500.
No, 40 square feet.
Wow.
That whole building, that whole feed store building was 3,000 square feet. And that included feed storage, our little office.
Well, so the first time I did meet you was actually at, it was either convention or Cincinnati. I think you were there with Double Bar 1.
Well, yeah, and FPD, kind of hung out with Dan and Linda. Mm-hmm.
And that was really before you did much, right?
Correct.
I've heard you mentioned behind the scenes by some folks. They're like, it used to be territories, and then John Hershbarger put this industry on its head. So how did you do that?
When we got the feed store, he had a good selection of farrier supplies for the local customer. I mean, better than average feed store selection.
Better than Tractor Supply.
He had the GE tools. He had some Kirkharts. And so as we had the store for a few years, of course, we wanted to grow. And you can't really grow a feed store outside of your geographical area.
Right.
So we thought, what's a good niche? And we had the farrier supplies. I really liked the horseshoers that came in there. I was very interested in what they were doing, all the different tools, carry shoes out to their truck, and I'd see a Jim Poor hammer or whatever. Didn't even know what that was. So I had to just try to learn all that. And so gradually we just started adding more and more product. And then my idea was to put out a catalog.
And what year was this then?
This would have been in 2004.
So catalogs were still a thing.
20 years ago. Yeah, I was right on the edge, but the internet was coming along.
Right.
So Timmy says, I think we need a website. So we started looking into that. So we did the website and started adding a little bit more and more product, ran out of room in that feed store building. And so we built another building there, same location.
Right. It was just across the parking lot.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that.
It got us a lot more room and started adding more and more product. And once you have a website or once you start selling like that, you figure out that horseshoers in different parts of the country use different things than we might just in our local area.
Of course.
Then you have to make that decision of, are we going to concentrate on our local area? Or are we going to just get it all? So we're like, well, let's just do it. Let's go big. But it was small and it was organic growth year after year, just continue to add to your product mix.
Do you still have the $10 flat rate?
We do.
And what in the world can you send for $10?
All of it.
Okay, so tell people what that is, because it's unbelievable.
Yeah, so it's $10 flat rate shipping. It's pretty straightforward.
If a guy orders 10 boxes of shoes and they weigh, let's say 30, so he's got 300 pounds, and it's all on one order, it goes for $10.
Correct, yes, sir. Yeah, one rasp or a whole pallet load of stuff is $10. The only exception to that are single items over 150 pounds. Like a 200-pound amble has to ship freight truck on a pallet. That doesn't qualify. But yeah, you can order 500 pounds of mix and match, whatever, and it's $10. Makes it easy.
But that's got to be, like, your shipping bill must just be astronomical.
It's good, yes, sir.
It's good.
The higher that shipping bill is, the better we're doing.
You know what? There's that. Yeah, I had a good friend back in the day when cell phones cost a lot, and he'd have a $200 or $300 a month cell phone bill. He said, that's fantastic. That means I'm busy.
Yes, sir.
I guess nowadays it means he's on Facebook a lot, Facebook wasn't around back then.
Right, yes, sir. No, it's good. We just wanted to figure out a way to get stuff to our customers easy and efficient and make it affordable.
Do you do much international stuff?
We do, more and more all the time, especially now that we're in the manufacturing side of the business with Scott Ambles and the Cliff Carroll products. We've got a lot of dealers overseas in Europe, and we ship a lot of that over there. But yeah, we've got a lot of customers. Korea.
Now, do you do a $10 flat rate to Canada?
No.
Yeah, it's impossible,
no,
huh?
It's tough. Yeah.
Yeah, if I send one textbook to Canada, it's like $55.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
We do have some pretty good negotiated rates with UPS, so
well, that helps.
Those cases where we do ship and the customer has to pay, they get hopefully the benefit of our better rates.
Wow. As we walk around your shop, I just got a tour. And folks, if you've ever had a chance to stop here in Amarillo, and I've been lucky, I've been here probably 7 or 8 times. So I've got to see the evolution of it. And last time I was here, Cody and I did a clinic. And now you just keep using more and more square feet. How many square feet you got out there?
We're at 40,000 square feet.
And you're using all of it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's unbelievable.
It really is.
Do you have any idea how many products you have?
There's active in the system. There's about close to 8,000, maybe just a little over 8,000 different SKUs. And
can a person find any one of those on the website? All of those?
All of them, yes, sir. Mm-hmm.
And do you have a team that is just in charge of the website, or?
Yeah. So Kat, she does most of our website stuff, updates, pictures, descriptions, new items, all of that. So that's pretty much a full-time job. She keeps up with that.
I can imagine.
It is. Mm-hmm. There's so many new products coming out.
And so how do you decide whether or not to add a product?
That's a good question. A lot of times you can look at something and think, okay, that's going to sell really well, and there's demand for it. And other times you look at something and you think, that's not going to work, and I'm usually wrong. So, you look at it and wait for customers too. Sometimes, if somebody asks you for it, you better be looking into it.
Okay.
Because there's probably 10 people that were looking for it that never did ask.
Sure.
If you had it or if you could get it. So.
All right. Well, that makes sense.
As a farrier supply store, that's our job, is to have farrier supplies. So.
Right.
If something's new, we'll try to get it and give it a go.
Very cool. Now, you host a lot of clinics here, but the winter clinic has 300 people, huh?
Yeah, we're about 300 people. Yes, sir.
And I bet that's a pretty good weekend.
For 3 days. Yes, sir. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. It's a great event.
And so you guys have a meal and foraging and
we do.
Horses and just
the whole thing. Yeah, we'll have food trucks here throughout the day, and then we feed everybody big barbecue supper on Friday night, and then they'll have the auction and everything Friday. But yeah, a little bit of something for everybody, from on the foot and anatomy to how to forge this kind of shoe or that kind of shoe. There's a little bit of everything.
Now, can we get you to do a demo?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, it's gonna be pretty simple. But.
Oh yeah, like build a draft shoe or something.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Yeah, I know you're kind of known for them already.
Well, I don't know about that, but I'm working hard at it.
So, John, if you hadn't done this, what would you have been?
Well, that's a good question. That's a really good question. I would probably, if I wasn't in the farrier side of this, I'd probably still be at the feed store. I really enjoyed that part of it.
You like retail anyway?
I do, and I like the people in our industry, agriculture related people,
Okay.
and those kind of products. You know, whether it's feed.
Farriers are a little bit difficult, aren't they?
No.
No?
I like farriers. I mean, it's a really good group of people. There's always a few sour eggs in there, but very, very few.
I really love farriers too. This is such an independent group. I always wonder what being a supplier.
That's what I like about them. I'm a pretty independent kind of guy too, but I look at it as we're providing a service to a professional, providing products to professional farriers, and they're good. I think most of the time when people call and place their orders, they're happy that they're ordering stuff. They're glad that we've got it. And no, they're good, great to work with.
That's very cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what is your morning routine like? What do you do every day before you come in?
Morning routine, get up, actually go work out for about an hour.
Are you an early riser?
No, I'm more of a night owl.
Okay.
But I do get up early-ish. I mean, I get up at 6.
Okay.
Get up at 6 and then
work out for an hour and
8 to 5 at the store every day. And then after work, I've got stuff to do around the homestead.
Do you have any hobbies? Are you a bowler or pool player or
No, forging, really.
Forging.
That's
you forge at home?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I try to practice. In the summertime, it's a little tougher. It's hot, and I've got things to do outside. But especially in the winter, pretty much every evening, build a shoe or two or something, play around.
Are you going to pursue learning how to shoe horses?
Oh man, I tell you,
like shoe horses, not just contest shoe.
To be determined.
Oh yeah.
To be determined.
Do you have any space left for a haul-in business?
No. I really like forging. I really like the challenge of building the shoes and then just better understanding the tools and the application. And I did that for me because I enjoyed it. And I think competitors are a very motivating group of people to be around.
That's true.
And they don't just motivate you in going and building shoes. I think they motivate you in your whole life and everything that you do.
Right. Yeah, you can apply that to becoming better at everything.
Yeah, absolutely. So I really enjoy that part of it. To get under horses and be competent at it, you got to do quite a few. Just make running your ass efficient, not rolling hills off. Yeah, exactly. All that. Especially in the competition side, that's where I have to be careful, and that's why I haven't competed.
So you think competition among the horseshoers, like you being in competition with them for shoeing horses and selling product? Is that what you're talking about?
No, I think that if I'm going to show up to a horseshoeing contest and make the live shoeing, that I need to do a better job on the foot, right? Because that's what that's all about is getting better.
So you don't avoid shoeing horses because other people are shoeing horses?
Oh, no.
Your customers. Okay. All right.
No, I would never do it for a living. I'm here at the store.
This is your job.
This is my job. I've got a job. I don't want to shoe horses. We'll let professionals doing that.
Now, the person that shoes your wife's horses, do you go out there and kind of watch him go? And
yeah.
Is that Asia's husband?
Yeah. Weston.
Okay, Weston. Okay. Mm-hmm. And he's often your partner.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, we've learned a lot together. He's taught me a lot. He's a couple years ahead of me in competing and all that stuff. And he's really, really taken off and done well the last few years. He's doing a good job. So yeah, no, we've practiced together a lot building shoes, but then that's also where I've practiced nailing up, trimming feet, and all that is with Weston. And then we've got brood mares and stuff at home, and so I'll trim brood mares.
How many horses do you have?
There's probably 22 or so.
And are you still in the hay business to help feed them?
No, that was the bad thing about getting rid of the feed store.
Yeah, no kidding.
But I still get the brother-in-law discount.
Oh yeah. So brother-in-law, is this your sister's husband?
It is. Yeah, sister's husband. Mm-hmm.
Not your wife's brother,
right.
Because that probably could have been a better deal, you think, or not?
I don't know.
Are you a reader? Do you read books?
Not as much as I should.
And if you do read, do you read novels or do you read only manuals?
I like historical stuff the most.
Historical fiction or like true?
No, like true, especially if it's about our area that we live in or about like the farrier industry, stuff like that. And I can really get
so American West or stuff like that.
Yes, sir.
But you don't get to very often. It doesn't sound like.
Well, no, and that's probably out of laziness. I find myself reading, my eyes are following the words, but my mind is somewhere else.
So a page later, you don't remember what you wrote.
Exactly. Yeah. I'll be sitting there thinking about other things.
Well, certainly understandable. You got a lot to think about.
Yeah.
So now you have 22 people working in this building.
Yes, sir.
Are they all full-time?
Yes, sir.
So 22 full-time employees.
Full-time.
What's the HR side of this like?
So that's Miss Bianca. She's our HR lady.
You don't have to get yourself involved in that.
It's great. Yeah, it's the best. I mean, I did it for a long time. I used to do all the payroll, handwrite all the checks, do all the things, pay bills, all that. So fortunately, Bianca's here, and she takes care of all of that kind of stuff, takes care of her insurance. We're fortunate enough that we've been able to provide health insurance and 401k and all that for about the last 5 years or so for everybody. So thankfully, she takes care of that, does an awesome job.
Kelly mentioned something to me about a 401k too, and I'm like, hon, I don't even think I could run a 5K.
Exactly.
So this is like a legit job, you know. It's not contract labor where you're
Yeah. No, I think the most important part of this business is the people. That's what makes this work is good people.
How many of your employees have you had since the beginning?
None that are here since the beginning, like in 2000. Yeah, my sister Amanda, she's been with us for over 10 years. Sarah's been here close to that, 7, 8. Jessica, Asia, 6, 7, 8 years. You know, so yeah, a lot of my core group been here quite a long time.
Did you move this building in like 2010?
2015.
2015
is when we separated out from the feed store and moved over here. So,
and since then, you've had a lot that have stayed with you since then.
Yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
All right. So now, what do you think is the future of this business?
The future,
not just your business, but the future of our industry, I guess.
I think the future's bright.
Do you?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of new technology. There's a lot of modern materials, you know, coming into the industry. But I think, you know, you can't get a computer to shoe your horse, right?
I agree. Yep.
So I think the skill, I just see it carrying on. Yeah, I don't see any reason why it wouldn't.
I've been a farrier for almost 40 years, and ever since the beginning, even in 1990, I was hearing people say, oh, you know, we won't be using nails much longer. It's going to be glue. I don't see that ever happening. How about you?
No, I don't. And there's a lot of new products that are good products out there, and there's probably a place for everything. But I think the vast majority still nailed on it.
Well, a good solid foot, there's no cheaper and easier way.
Yeah, more efficient way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Heck, I've only glued on a dozen shoes my whole career. It's just not my thing.
Sure.
But, you know, you glue on 2 shoes and you have a 5-gallon bucket of trash.
Yes, sir.
It's definitely not green.
Right. Absolutely.
So do you sell more glue every year or less shoes, or does everything just keep growing?
Yeah, as a whole, we just grow every year. Luckily, we always have. So, yeah, we sell more glue every year, but we also sell more shoes and nails every year, too. So
Everything's together, huh?
We see an increase in alternatives. Yeah, composite shoes and glues. You know, there's more of that out there. There's more choices. I see it as a growing segment, but still a very small segment compared to the overall.
How do you feel about licensing for farriers?
Well, that's not really in my wheelhouse. As a supply store, dodge that. I see the pros and cons to that. I think the English system is good. I think having competent professionals out there is the way. But I'm also just American enough that I don't want the government telling me what I can and can't do, because I'm kind of that way.
Yes. All right. Well, and he is also running for office.
No. I think that's the way. You know, if you're a young person starting out, you know, going through, whether it's licensing or not, but going to a good school like Heartland and really learning your trade and being proficient at what you do, it's just so important.
Yeah. For me, licensing has always been one of these things that the good shoers kind of weed out the bad shoers just by natural capitalistic market pressure. If we have licensing, I think it's going to give the customer something to beat the horse shoer with that we don't have to have.
Sure.
And oftentimes I see them lower the standard to get the lowest common denominator instead of bringing the lowest standard
to the highest.
Yeah. So I've always really fought licensing, but then again, I'm just enough American to...
Right, exactly. Yeah. Well, not anti-education by any means.
No. And, you know, voluntary certification, I've been a huge proponent my whole career. The licensing, and I've seen some of the downside to it in other countries where you lose your license for things that are unrelated or perhaps maybe they pass a law where you can only use a certain type of shoe and nail. because the people involved in passing that law have an angle, if you will.
Yes, sir.
So I don't know. I always find that interesting. And a thinking man like yourself, I thought you might have a good idea on that.
Well, and I guess we're seeing a little bit of that too. We're here with HISA, with the race plates and the toe grab regulations too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If you're a plater or a racehorse trainer or something, now all of a sudden the government is getting involved.
Right. Yes, sir.
Yeah. They're trying to get their fingers in us.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Do you have any motivational sayings, anything that you live by?
I like John Wooten. Things turn out best for those who make the best of the way things turn out.
Okay.
I really like that one because you can make all the plans in the world, and a lot of times it doesn't go like you plan. So,
well, here I am sitting in Amarillo.
Exactly. Yeah, so let's make the best of it. Yeah, absolutely. That's been a good one for me, I think. Adapt, change, keep going.
Yeah. Well, and you certainly have to in this world, not just in supply business or shoeing, but virtually everything you do seems like.
Yes, sir.
Amarillo area, is it growing for shoers or?
Yeah, it's growing overall for sure. Population's growing, building houses. Yeah, and I think the farrier world is good here and getting better, I would say.
The national political atmosphere hasn't causing problems here.
Well, no more than anywhere else, but the economy in Amarillo is good.
Strong.
Texas is usually a strong economy. Amarillo's always been a strong economy. The ups aren't as high as a lot of places, but the downs are never as bad either. It's a pretty conservative area and pretty diverse economically. And so we've always been pretty steady.
Good place to be then.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Well, there's a few places in the country that say they're overrun with farriers. Ocala, they seem to think they got more than they need. And I think Lexington, Kentucky feels that way. But for the most part, this country is ripe for a farrier.
Yes, sir.
Virtually everywhere you go.
Yep.
Do you know what the average shoer gets around here to shoe a horse?
We're probably on the upper end around here is about 150.
150?
150, 160.
All right. And what's it cost to rent a house around here?
Good question. 15 to 1,800, I would say.
Okay. I've always told people that if you're going to shoe horses, you need to live somewhere where you can pay your rent with 10 horses.
Be pretty close.
That would be very close.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, because if you go to, like, let's say Hawaii, and you get $120 to shoe a horse,
right. Yeah,
and the best place you can get, or the cheapest place you can get is $3,000 a month,
right.
You've got to shoe a lot of horses.
Yes, sir.
Hey, tell us about anvil manufacturing. So I'm sitting here with a pattern. That's a pattern for one of your anvils. Did you have that made?
No, that's that's the Scott taper heel. So Mr. Scott made that pattern.
Did he make it personally?
Yes, sir.
No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
And do you still use it?
Yep, we brought that one back from the foundry. It's getting a little bit of wear on it in a few places, so we've got to fix that, dress it up, clean it up.
Will you do that or have it done?
No, we'll do that here. That's a wood pattern. A lot of patterns, like our new patterns, they're mostly aluminum, machined aluminum.
And do you guys make those too?
No, we haven't ever made one from scratch here. The foundry, we can draw out the plans for one, and then we'll have the pattern shop actually machine that for us and make that for us.
Are your anvils being poured here in Texas?
Yes, sir.
And heat treated here in Texas?
Correct. Everything. Yeah, we use 2 different foundries here in Texas.
Oh, yeah. Why 2 different ones?
One of them can't make the 200-pound plus anvils.
Okay.
Their machines just aren't big enough. So one foundry's making the big anvils, another foundry's making the smaller ones. And then we bring them all here to our shop, machine the tops and bottoms flat and parallel, do all the horn grounding. It's all by hand. Do all that, and then now we're sending them out, having them professionally heat treated and tempered. I think is a really, really big plus.
Yes.
in the whole thing.
Did Scott Collier, did he do it himself or did he have it done, the heat treating?
No, he sent them out, had them heat treated. Yep. So it's exact same process that Scott used.
That he was doing.
Yes, sir. It's a little different than Cliff Carroll was doing. Cliff was heat treating his own anvils.
Okay.
And that's how we started out.
With a campfire? Or?
Almost. It's a high-tech, low-tech machine that has it's got a torch head on it. And you get different width torch heads depending on the width of the face of each anvil.
Okay.
It's putting out fire, moving across the anvil at a certain speed and a certain height to get it up to temperature. And then it's water quenching out of that same head right behind it.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep. With this type of ductile iron, you can heat treat it like that. And so Cliff did that for 30 years. And so we continued on with that. on the Cliff Carroll anvils. And then when we got Scott anvils, Scott thought that was a good idea, and he had thought about doing that himself, but never had. So we did that with the Scotts and had a little trouble. It wasn't quite what we needed, and so ran into a few problems. Not a lot, but enough that it wasn't good. We wanted them to all be right.
Sure.
So we went back and sent them out for heat treat and temper, which I think is a really important part of that.
Were you doing the 200-pound anvils also with that flame head?
Yes, sir.
How long does it take to bring a 200-pound anvil to temperature?
Well, it'd take a minute. That was probably a 20-plus minute process.
And so that had to consume a lot of fuel as well.
It does consume a lot of fuel, yeah. You'd have to make a pass over the face just to, like you said, bring the anvil up to temp, and then you'd run the torch head across there and actually do the heat treat and quench. But that was just one part of it. Then you take it off. You might run 20 anvils like that, and then you had to change your dies, if you will, in that heat treater, and then do the horns. So then that was a whole nother process. So it was two parts. But to keep the consistency right was really tough.
And so really with the volume, you're talking, you can do 6 anvils a day or something, right?
Yeah, it was quite a job.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is a lot better.
Yeah.
A lot better way.
Yeah, very neat. And are you heat treating the Cliff Carroll anvils the same now?
Yes.
Okay, so everything's getting done professionally.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Yeah. And knock on wood, we've not had any warranty issues since we changed that heat treat. Yes, sir.
Heartland benefited from the seconds that came back. Cody was able to make a deal, and then Cody did all the milling. He built himself a cherry picker, for want of a better word, with wheels on it that he could put it in and out of his mill. And then with that, we heat ground them all, and then we got them professionally heat treated, and they've been awesome to have in the shop.
Perfect.
We have a bunch of those for the Heartland students, but it does break my heart to see a guy swing a hammer for the first time on one of those beautiful anvils.
Yeah, that's how we learn.
So are you going to add any more stuff to build?
Yeah, we might. Right. We might. I don't know what that is yet.
You're always open to ideas.
Always open. Yes, sir.
Are you going to Cincinnati or Kansas City or both?
We'll go to Kansas City. Yeah, we'll go to the summit this year.
All right. Yeah, so I'll be up there as well, but it's really close for me.
Right. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, I got convention coming up, and that'll be here before we know it. I'm signed up for the draft this year, so I'm pretty excited about that. No, Conrad Tro.
Oh,
Conrad
very good.
and I are going to do it. So, yeah, we've been getting together and practicing, and
he's a good guy.
Man, I've learned a lot. He's taught me so much.
Yeah, he's handy.
Yes, sir.
So I always ask people to teach me something unrelated. And so sometimes it's one guy taught me how to mow the yard. One guy taught me how to build a fire. You got anything you can teach me? So you certainly have some technical skills or something.
Do a little foraging. I'm the groundskeeper at home. I plow, mow the grass.
All right, what do you plow?
Build fences. I've got a 60-horse Branson tractor and an 8-foot Arena King plow.
Okay. And so do you have a special way of plowing? Do you try to make a pattern?
It's the old back and forth pattern. Of course, we're pretty dry here, so when we do catch a rain and I can really work it up, get the base right, I'll go the long way down the arena and then work it sideways and then go long way.
Now, so your wife being a rainer, the ground is absolutely everything.
Absolutely everything.
And so if you mess it up, do you kind of get a bit of a chewing?
No, she I work it better than she does. Okay. So she's pretty happy when I work the ground for her. Yeah, but the base is important on those reining horses. You got to have that good base to slide on, not have ridges in it.
Not be too deep, not be too shallow.
Yeah, that could be the joke of the day. Something about why reining horse trainers are cremated.
That's right.
Yeah, can't ever find any dirt to suit them.
That's it.
Yep, that'd be it. Yeah, that's right.
Well, sir, I can't thank you enough. I know this is a busy time for you, and for you to spend this time with me. Hope you have a very blessed remainder of your year, and I look forward to continuing to see you down the road.
Yes, sir. Thank you. My pleasure.
Yeah, you've been a great partner to Heartland. We sure thank you for all your support, and it's just been an amazing thing to watch you grow and do what you do.
Appreciate it. Thanks for letting us be a part of it.
Thanks, John. MullinsFarrier.supercast.com. There is a lot of information on the interweb and social media. This creates the problem of winnowing the wheat from the chaff. That is where having access to someone like Brian Mullins is such a gift to our trade. Responsible, knowledgeable, and informative, Brian's gift as a podcast host shines through in every recording. The last 5 years of legacy interviews will remain free, but premium access to this font of information going forward will be available at mullinsfarrier.supercast.com. Again, mullinsfarrier.supercast.com. For less than a fancy coffee a month, you can continue to learn and enjoy from the amazing Mr. Mullins. Money well spent. I was one of his first subscribers. So check out mullinsfarrier.supercast.com.